Good morning, traders. Good morning. Good morning. Timo Wilson with Vision FX coming at you guys live and direct for another week of technical analysis. Today is April 30th, roughly about 8:11 a.m. Of course, the New York, the U.S. session here in the United States. So let's get started to take a look at my watch list for the week, what's going on in the markets, and what we can potentially trade this week. So I want to start you guys off with the US dollar index. As you guys see, we have been in quite a downtrend since about January of 2017. So going on a little over a year, as the dollar index is moving for the last couple weeks. It was ranging, in a sideways market. But as you see here, we have our low. We have another higher low. And just another higher low where we're able to form some type of uptrend line. Now, I have my eyes on 92 as last week. Let me zoom in. As 92, we did wick 92 literally to the pip, as well as our trend line that for the downtrend we have been in for a little over a year, coming up on a year and a half. As you guys see, price now is wicking this trend line, as well as 92 is holding as firm resistance. So on the dollar index, what I am looking for is this. I'm looking for a retest of about 90, 94 before this thing makes its decision on which direction it really wants to go. So I'm looking for dollar weakness this week. So if you're trading any pairs with the US dollar, you always want to use this dollar index chart as a cross reference, as it does measure the strength and weakness of the US dollar. So moving along, let's take a look at dollar versus CAD. This is one of my favorite pairs, guys. When I first started trading, I think this was my main pair that I traded. So let's take a look starting at the weekly, what happened last week. So last week we did break above a resistance level of 1.2800, and we are stuck below one of my moving average. Last week's high was 1.2900. So we have to watch this zone. Drop it down to the daily chart. As you guys see on a daily chart, we have rejected 1.2900, 1, 2, 3 days in a row, as Friday closing as a bearish Maribozu candle. Okay, extremely bearish candle right here, which could show signs of a pullback or slight reversal / trend continuation. Earlier this month, we did trade the head and shoulders. As you see, left shoulder here, head, right shoulder. Price broke below. As you see, it stayed below 1.2800. Look how the daily candles wick this zone. It's a very important zone, and came right down to my support level of 1.2500 before reversing and making an upward move, retracing most of this head and shoulders short. So now we're looking at the daily, dropping down to the 4-hour. Just to show you guys what I see is we were able to form a nice trend line from this bullish engulfment candle, right? Connecting to this next higher low. Moving averages stayed up the entire time, forming this nice uptrend. Okay, and now we are trading sideways, guys. So what I'm looking to happen this week, this is an either or trade, but I'm favoring shorts this week as I just cross-referenced the dollar index. So what I'm looking for is for a 4-hour candle to literally break this zone, come up and retest, and I'll be looking to target shorts with several different strategies, looking for confluence. as well as a stop loss above 1.2875-ish. And an exit point I will figure out on my own. So right now we are trading in a sideways range. We have to wait for a break. There's no trade just yet, okay? I have my daily confirmation of a bearish Maribuza. I have a 4-hour confirmation of a break of a trend line, cross the moving averages, and now I'm just waiting for price action to play out on USD versus the Canadian dollar. Now, last week I traded pound versus the yen as well. Literally got in at 152.50, rode this move all the way down to daily lows of about 150.70, and we still came lower down to monthly support at 150. Nice psychological level. Now, let's start on a higher time frame once again. Okay. So with this pair, it's actually really, really interesting because this push down was literally Brexit in 2016. This whole push down as we formed all-time lows of 125. All we did was retrace this entire move. As you see, the overall chart, you always want to look left. We have been in a downtrend for quite some time, and this actually looks like a flag that you can easily draw a counter trend line from our lows all the way. You could have one right here, as this was one of our trends. Let's bring it down. And then you also have one from right here. Let's take this wick right here. So this is extremely interesting, guys. Whenever you have big breakouts on higher time frames, it's easier to spot trades as higher time frames tell all. Now, as you see, last week we closed as a nice shooting star, okay, on the weekly time frame, and we broke outside of this counter trend line. Now let's look at the daily. Now on the daily, we had a nice bearish momentum stopping right at monthly support of 150. Okay. And as you see, we broke out of the counter trend line. But most of all, you have, if you take this overall structure from high to low, okay, what we did is we rejected the 78.6 here and the 61.8 here. One of the reasons why I took the trade off the daily time frame, because these are heavy Fibonacci levels that actually correlate with one of my strategies for shorts. So on the daily, we're starting the week with some type of bullish momentum. Of course, whenever you have a hard drop like that, a big impact drop, you need time to, the markets needs time to go on ahead and trade the other way and retrace for some time, to look to knock stop losses, to induce traders to go the other way. A lot of psychology behind it. But as you see here on the 4-hour time frame, we had a nice hammer forming off support, and this 4-hour candle closes in the next hour and 40 minutes, showing some type of signs of retracement. So you have to look for some confluence on this trade. Let me take some of these trend lines off, like this one, just for a clearer perspective. So what I'm looking for this week on pound versus the yen is we're going to retrace at least 50 to 60% of this move, and I'm expecting 150 to be broken. Once again, use your own strategies to enter and exit. This is just technical analysis based off what I'm looking for the week. We could take my trend line from right here. We can literally bring it all the way up, as you see right here. Once again, my trade from last week, another confluence. And if I want to take one more trend line, just as somewhat of an outer trend line, I'll take it from right here to the low of this wick. As you see, price currently is respecting this trend line, okay? But I expect us once again to retrace about 50 to 60% of this move first, and then I'll look out for some price action to see if we're ready to continue our downtrend and break 150, which could send us another 100, 200 pips south, okay? And that's pound versus the yen. Let's go back to Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar, as I've kept you guys updated for the last 3 weeks on this pair. So on the weekly time frame, we're still looking good for longs on a weekly time frame. Okay, we called longs right here at 1.0500. We have our confirmation candle from 2 weeks ago, followed by another bullish week last week. Okay, now 1.0750 is a firm resistance level for me, but if the daily candle closes somewhere around this level, I'll actually be looking for longs, as we are staying above 1.0667, which was a strong zone that had been rejected at one point in time. We broke above. We had two dojis, not too much momentum, Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar, not too much bullish momentum or liquidity in the markets whatsoever. And you have to learn this pair, because this pair, it will make its move and then consolidate, or just, it'll consolidate, or it'll just trade sideways to trick traders, okay? Because this is a pair that requires a lot of patience, and that's one of the reasons why I trade this pair, really just to test my patience. To me, technicals are technicals, they're all the same. But as you see now, we have our uptrend line, which has been respected. I took my first higher low from this region right here. This was my first higher low for the uptrend. Okay, I took my trend line, I connected the next wick, and as you see, it has been respected. Okay, so on a 4-hour time frame, what I need to see is we have a nice counter trend line here. Okay, what I need to see is a nice 4-hour candle go on ahead and bust through this counter trend line, come back and retest it maybe on the hourly. And I'll look to place stops somewhere below 1.0680, targeting 1.0750, if not 1.0800, since it's a round psychological number, another level of resistance for this week on a 4-hour level. So let me go on ahead and put my resistance on for the week as well. Okay, and once we reach 1.0750, of course, I'll move my stops to break even, where it's a risk-free trade. So let's see if we could get another leg up, just another leg up on Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar. So this is the move I'm looking for. Okay, now let's tune back into Euro versus the yen. Euro versus the yen has been interesting, and we have to be careful because 133 has held as a nice form of resistance for the last couple weeks, as we're still trading sideways. So here, let me show you guys something. So I'm still targeting 134, but I'm not sure just yet if it's a trade for this week, because as you see here, it induced people to go long, consolidated, broke back below, but 132 is still holding as firm support. Okay, as you see, daily lows are around 132. But this is what caught my eye right here, guys, is we're wicking 132. We literally have to see how this daily candle closes. Right now, we're stuck in between my moving averages, which are still pointing to the upside, but it looks like it could be curving to the downside. But let's see if 132 is used as support. If I do get a 4-hour daily candle to break below, that will invalidate my analysis. I haven't traded this setup just yet because I haven't seen what I needed to see to even get into this pair. So you have to sit on your hands sometimes. Sometimes it takes 1, 2, 3 weeks for a setup finally to form. But here we have a daily pin straight to my moving average and daily support. But we have broken out of a counter trend line with a nice evening star candlestick pattern, which made me hesitant about this pair dropping down to the 4-hour time frame. As you see, a nice bearish Maribozu, 133 holding as resistance, 132 as support. So we're in 100 pip range right now. This is an either or trade once again, guys. We have to see how price plays out. Last but not least, the talk of the week, guys, Euro versus the US dollar. Euro versus the US dollar has been extremely interesting, guys, because last week on Friday, we closed as a bullish hammer. Also, this is our third touch to our trend line, with 1.2100 being our support level, 1.2050 to 1.2100 being major support. We have to see how daily candles close on this pair, as we have had some bearish momentum, the last week or 2 weeks, rejecting 1.2400s, which is our yearly high. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. As you guys see today, we could be making a double bottom off major support. So we have to see the daily and 4-hour candles, how they close. But we could go on ahead and draw a slight counter trend line followed by our moving averages from here to here. And I'd like to see a break of this counter trend line on lower time frames, such as my 2-hour and my 1-hour. As you see currently right now, this is a great example. The price is literally looking for its daily low. Momentum, bearish momentum is steaming out. It's almost like reaching your feet for the floor. That's how you have to visualize this. It's currently looking for a support level, a daily low for the week, as 1.2055 has held as daily lows and weekly lows of last week. So it's a critical zone. 1.2100 is a psychological level. What I would like to see happen with this pair, and I think it's going to play out well for us, is that this is going to hold a support. We're going to break through these trend lines and target somewhere around 1.2200 to 1.2220. You have to be careful because this is literally a trade that's going with the overall direction on the larger picture. But on the smaller picture, we broke below 1.2220. And as you see, we've stayed below, but it's a nice resistance level where accumulation and distribution has been going on for some time, but we had our break. So I'm not going to target 1.2400, but I am going to target 1.2200 as a slight retracement. And then from there, I will further analyze this pair to see if we're going to 1.2400 and using 1.2200 as support, or if we're going to resume the downtrend and break 1.2100, guys. So this is this week's analysis. Okay, I broke down pound versus the yen, dollar versus the Canadian dollar, Euro USD, Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar, as well as Euro versus the yen. What I advise, guys, is you use my analysis and take what you like from it, and combine it with your own strategy, with your own trading style to help you in the markets. This is free analysis, strictly used to help you guys and guide you guys, but do not take trades strictly off of my analysis, okay? Because even myself, I tend to lose some trades too, and I might be wrong on some analysis, but 70 to 80 to 90%, I'm normally right about the direction of the markets. But you still have to use this as a foundation for your strategy as well as your trading style, to take your trades, okay, guys? So I hope everybody has a successful week. Once again, I broke down 5 different currency pairs for you guys. Will I trade all 5? No, not at all. I'll pick the best 1 or 2 setups from these charts, and I'll look to target 100, 150 pips, close on 150 to 200 pips for the week, and I'm fine with that. So let's see how everything plays out. I hope everyone has a successful week, and you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at TimoJoell. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, guys, as you know, right now I'm doing just free weekly analysis for you guys. But sometime this summer, I'll start doing vlogs, you know, things about psychology, etc., etc. So make sure you guys stay tuned, like this video, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Have an awesome week, guys.